I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Tuesday.
What Super Bowl halftime are you watching? We were just talking about that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Sending the debate in the office already.
Oh, yeah,
And we'll be right there getting into it this hour with Turning Point USA announcing their halftime show. But, Bill.
Yes.
We got a whole bunch of new people listening this morning.
Yes, we do. Big hello to our friends in Colorado Springs.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you tuned in to AM 1460 or FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs, and going, who the heck are these guys? Well,
Yeah.
it's Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, we're just down the road. We're in Denver. Don't worry.
Expanding our little show.
Yes, we are. So we're happy to join you guys this morning. We appreciate it. You can give us a call. Of course, we'll throw out the numbers. Also, we got text messages. One of the things we do on the show is we ask you to give us your nickname in the text message. We'll put that in the system. So then when you text us, we'll have your name. But more importantly, maybe later on this morning, we'll go through a little bit of who we are, introduce ourselves to Colorado Springs market as far as why we're doing this and how the hell this thing happened.
We're a debate show, right, left, center.
Yeah.
If you remember the old Hannity and Combs, very similar to that. I'm the MAGA rock-ribbed conservative Jeff Hunt, and Billy is the classic Colorado independent.
Yeah.
He's not a part of any team.
And haven't been for years. This isn't something that in the last 5-6 years I went, I'm protesting. No, I've got more than 2 decades of being unaffiliated and proudly so inside of this state. I did belong to one political party. We'll talk about that then, but I've never belonged to both. Some of the things that I might say will surprise you, but I'm not coming new to this unaffiliated thing. I've been ticked off at both political parties for decades, and you'll hear it.
So here's the phone number if you want to jump in on any of the debates at any time, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Capitalist Law text line at 720-819-5115. Now it's time for Blake Olson and the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Monday morning. 23 and partly cloudy in Denver. 26 in the Springs. Expecting highs in the low 50s today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, the horrific stories and a lot of details continue to be exposed with the release of the Epstein files. You'll see them on platforms like X, but you won't see them on mainstream media. Former Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson was mentioned in the Epstein files because he was considering buying one of Epstein's private planes. He said it didn't happen, and he also says he never met or talked to Epstein. With all this stuff, and this is the news and comment, and that's what I love about this because Jeff and Bill will chime in here and there. Yep. You know what? Charlie said it best a few months ago before he was taken out. And I don't have the audio, of course. Sometimes I like to put the audio on there. I'll try to play it later.
Here, I'll point out something that was funny in conversations in the Hunt house. So Ken Starr was Jeffrey Epstein's attorney at one point, and I think he was trying to minister to him, guide him the right way. So he was sending him articles from Focus on the Family.
Oh, wow.
In the emails, and he signed them Hugs. Hugs, Ken Starr.
Hugs. Wow. That's awesome.
Yesterday on the show, we said this thing's going to hammer everybody. It's like radioactive. How about Jeffrey Epstein receiving Focus on the Family articles from Ken Starr signed Hugs? Was that on your bingo card?
No. Very, very, very interesting. I love it. I love it. The defense team for Tyler Robinson, accused of murdering Charlie, says they don't want a trial in secret, but they do want some documents kept private. They're especially concerned about motions that they make before the court. Robinson's defense lawyers argue the news media is not looking to inform the public, but to sensationalize the case for profit. He'll be back in court today. He's seeking to have the Utah County Attorney's Office disqualified from the case. Members of Congress can enter federal immigration detention centers without giving notice to ICE. Oh, that's great. The U.S. District Court judge in D.C. issued a temporary restraining order affirming that power Monday. Jason Crow and Joe Neguse of Colorado joined about a dozen other lefties in a lawsuit after ICE began requiring 7 days' notice before congressional oversight visits. The judge blocked that policy in December, but ICE tried to reinstate the restrictions last month. It'll expire in 2 weeks unless the court chooses to extend it. Federal immigration agents in Minneapolis will start wearing body cams. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem took to X Monday, saying it'll also be expanded nationwide. The House Rules Committee is paving the way for a vote today on bringing the partial government shutdown to an end. Oh, yippee. Monday night, the committee moved forward a funding package approved last week by the Senate. 47 is welcoming the Colombian president, Gustavo Petro, to the White House today. The president said that he'll discuss the flow of drugs coming from the region. He noted that Petro has been critical of him in the past, but changed his tune after they captured Maduro. Investigators are searching the Arizona home of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's missing mother for clues. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was reported missing on Sunday outside of Tucson, and Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano says her home is now a crime scene. He told reporters investigators believe she was taken from the home against her will. A pedestrian was taken to the hospital with possible serious injuries after being hit by a train Monday afternoon near the 200 block of Woodman Road, close to I-25 in the Springs, where crews found the pedestrian alive. Railroad traffic was stopped during the investigation, and police say the pedestrian was cited for trespassing. The Red Wings shut out the Avalanche last night, 2-0, and the Nuggets at the Pistons in Detroit tonight at 5 o'clock. 26 in the Springs, 23 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Bill.
Now, Blake.
Yes.
We got a request here for you to spend a little bit of time talking about yourself to our new audience in Colorado Springs.
Well, I don't know if I'm more conservative than Jeff. I'm kind of moving right now. I'm moving. Let me see if I can hear this audio. And this is who I am right now. Nope, don't have it. But anyway, I think we're ruled by oligarchs, as Charlie says. And I think we're ruled by the elite class. Sometimes we don't even know who they are. I think all this division is just to distract us. But I'm definitely a conservative, and I love Candace Owens.
And you were a sports guy for a long time. Still are a sports guy.
Long-time sports guy.
Give
Yes,
us your background.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in broadcasting over 35 years, mostly in sports, television sports, regional sports. I worked for Altitude Sports for 11 years, covering the Nuggets and the Avalanche. And then prior to that, Channel 2, Channel 9, did some work for Channel 4, interned at Channel 7, all in sports, and worked in Dallas, Fort Worth, covering the Cowboys in the late 90s, and also worked in the Springs right out of college. Had no idea what I was doing, but loved the Springs, loved the people in Southern Colorado, and that's my life. And I'm getting to that age now where I'm really kind of what's the word? Cynical.
And rightfully so.
That's who I am.
And you've had enough of it.
Yep.
And you're not going out without telling the world your opinion.
Right, absolutely. So Jeff and Billy and I don't always agree.
What?
Believe it or not.
Yeah. Which is what makes the show fun.
Yes. So we have a ball. I love the people in the Springs and
Yes.
and what they're about. And it's just
Except
it's
you're
a great
stuck
environment
with a
there.
really dumb mayor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So Yemi's got to go, guys.
We seem
We'll get
to have a
into that.
lot of those in Colorado.
Yeah, I know. The entire state's made up of them at this point.
Exactly. All right. We're going to have a good time this morning. Thanks a lot for joining us. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your KNUS forecast for the Denver metro area calls for dry, cool wintertime conditions tonight, lows near 30. A weak cold front and small disturbance moved through the area late this Tuesday. Beforehand, low 50s for highs. Few rain and snow showers late in the day. A touch of light snow Tuesday evening and night, trace to an inch possible. Mid-20s for lows. Near 50, partly cloudy Wednesday. Mild and dry Thursday through the weekend. Highs in the 60s, lows near 30. I'm meteorologist Mark Huer in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
The Jeff and Bill Show expanding. Born here 2 years ago in Denver on 710 KNUS, now syndicated to AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. So good morning to all of our new friends in Colorado Springs. I'm Jeff Hunt. Background with me, born and raised in Colorado, educated at Cherry Creek School District. Then moved to L.A. area for 6 years, Washington, D.C. for 6 years, worked for the Senate Republican Conference. Rick Santorum helped out with his presidential campaign, did lots of consulting in Washington, D.C. on numerous different issue campaigns, and then moved back to Colorado in 2012, was Mitt Romney's coalitions director. You can throw things at the radio if you like. I understand frustration sometimes there. But then pretty much ran the digital campaigns for every Republican in the state of Colorado, including candidates down in Colorado Springs, and went over to work with Bill Armstrong at Colorado Christian University, ran the Centennial Institute for 8 years, and was chairman of the Western Conservative Summit, and then got to come over here and work with Salem full-time about 2 years ago. So you can follow me on X at x.com/Jeff Hunt. I have 4 kids, all middle school and high school days. So I'm a middle-aged, very exhausted male.
and I'm Bill Thorpe. I'm the radio guy. I've got 3+ decades in local and national radio. In fact, Colorado Springs is kind of a return to home, but this would have been decades and decades ago. In the Springs, you would have been able to hear me first on KTSC. Yes, the college station. Yeah, I know. The signal reaches all the way up into the Springs. One of the reasons that I started my radio career there. So, yes, I'm a long-time guy that started out at KTSC. Also spent some time on KCSJ. You'd know those call letters as well. And everything else. If you remember the old Z100, jocked over there as well. God, what was the older station that was in Pueblo for a while. But again, spent some time there, bounced around Denver, worked for most of the local radio stations here in the news talk and also music side of things, and then spent some time with Westwood One. I've got more than 15 years of FM music experience doing both local and national. For a while, I hosted an evening show on Adult Contemporary, which it's the softer type of music that everybody listens to. It's the at-work station. I did evenings on that station that was on 200-plus stations across the country. Most recently did rock and classic rock for them and helped program hundreds of stations, almost 1,900 stations across the country. Currently, I work on their adult contemporary top 40 and hot AC stations and do stuff with them. Right now, I'm in the middle of scheduling a bunch of music. Doing a lot of music scheduling right now. But other than that, yeah, that's and kind of bounced around. Worked with Peter Boyles, Colorado Morning News, Reggie Rivers, Mike Rosen, Lou from Littleton, Jay Marvin. If you think of a Denver radio personality, chances are I've worked with them.
And the space station here is Bill Thorpe sometimes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, part of my deal is, yeah, I'm also on Armed Forces Radio Network, so I'm on the 1,000 military bases around the world, all the military installations, and that includes also being piped up to the space station. So if you ever go visit the International Space Station, you can hear me up there as well. And like Jeff, I have 4 kids, but I'm about a decade ahead of him in life. And so my kids are almost exactly a decade further along. So my oldest is in his mid-20s, and my youngest recently turned 17. So I'm about a decade ahead of you.
That's Jeff and Bill, both Coloradans, right?
Yeah, both Coloradans, both longtime Coloradans, different politics. But the fun thing is, both with 4 kids and both married and having to go through all of that. So we have so many commonalities, but also so many differences.
Both with much better wives than ourselves.
Oh, so much better. So much better.
All right. Bill, I want to dive into this because I want to get your sense on what you think happened here. Here's the headline from the LA Times. Blake had talked a little bit about this. Blood found inside the home of Savannah Guthrie's mom. Today Host says, raise your prayers. Authorities found blood inside the Tucson home of Nancy Guthrie. Law enforcement sources said heightening concerns that the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie was the victim of foul play. Nancy Guthrie, 84, was last seen Saturday night at her residence, and local authorities say she may have been forcefully taken in the middle of the night. Whoa. Family went to her residence Sunday afternoon after they were alerted that she had failed to show up to church that morning. According to the Arizona Department of Public Safety, all of her personal belongings, including her wallet, cell phone, and car, were still there, but she was nowhere to be found. Officials have not theorized about why she may have been snatched, but Pima County Sheriff appealed Monday to any potential abductor. Just call us, let her go, just call us. The family will tell you. There's no questions asked here. Nanos, at the news conference, the sheriff Monday, called for the public's help, asking for reports of anything out of the ordinary or any possible sightings of Nancy Guthrie. Tip line has been set up Monday evening, and the sheriff's department is offering a reward of up to $2,500 for any images, videos, or information that leads to the arrest of the person or people involved in her disappearance. We don't need another bad, tragic ending, the sheriff said. We need some help. Adding to the urgency of the case, the sheriff warned that Nancy Guthrie's life was in immediate danger if she didn't take a certain type of medication every day. The sheriff department was not aware of any specific threats to Savannah Guthrie that might be related to her mother's disappearance. I'm confused on this too because she's really not that controversial of a figure, Savannah Guthrie. She's the host of the Today Show, and to get to that level, you're pretty just even keeled, right? You're not a flamethrower like we are, or on MSNBC or even Fox or anything like that, throwing out opinions and get people riled up. Somebody yesterday called us paid agitators.
Which might be correct at certain times. I can see that.
So, I don't know. Do you think this is a ransom kidnapping? Who takes an 84-year-old?
Yeah, the issue is why the ransom kidnapping thing, why would you take in a Savannah Guthrie's mom? I just keep thinking that what would be the purpose? Because, I mean, if you're going to take kids, you take, millionaire, billionaire kids. I mean, yeah, she's on the TV, but what would be the purpose? And so the fact that they're, the wallet, keys, and things are left behind, the wallet is the one that really bothers me the most, because if you were taking her for, as we've seen with many other elderly people, you've seen this not only home invasions, but most often on the streets, where you take them to the ATM or the bank and you get them to withdraw money and those type of things. We've seen that. So the fact that she did not have her wallet is really, really worrisome. Also, the idea being that if I was going to kidnap this person and I was going to hold them for ransom, one of the ways I would prove I would have them is I would have items like the wallet. Yeah, there would be things I would be able to show to prove that I have her. So this is weird. I think at the end, we're just going to probably come down to some really awful, horrible, random crime. I don't think that this is going to be necessarily planned, thought out, or anything else. And I think it's just, and that's what's going to be the worst about it, is because it will be down to just the chaos of life. And that is the hardest thing to deal with, because when as difficult as it is when someone is taken from you, it's easier to deal with if you know the reason, whatever that is. I mean, it's as hard as it is with suicide, disease, or even crime, not knowing is worse.
Yeah. Now, this is happening in Tucson, which not that far from the border. So in my mind, cartel.
But
maybe
why?
random. Maybe they just saw an old lady and they were going to take her out of the house. Have you seen this where they basically kill the person in the house and then use the house?
Yeah.
And they keep the body there because it's an elderly person and they don't think anyone's going to check on it.
Yeah.
And then the cartel runs activities out of that house. I don't know. Cartel? It is close to the border.
But then again, you were talking about them keeping the body. The body's not there.
Yeah.
So why take the body and remove it? And again, part of that is, as far as the crime side, if you kill the person in the house and then you keep it there, there's some extra charges and things that tack on when you drag the body out of the house. You try to dispose it somewhere else. You're wrapping in other people. If you're going to do the crime thing, the easiest thing is just keep it in the house. And so that's the thing that we haven't seen that now. And so I can't figure out what the motivation would be for the cartels outside of something like that. But then why move the body? Why move the body at that point? Yeah, I don't know.
Join the conversation. Would love to hear from you. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Text messages coming in hot already this morning. Overnight Thinker. Good morning, gentlemen. Great step towards state and world domination, Jeff and Bill. Well deserved. Get the conversation going. Thank you, Overnight Thinker. That's awesome. Who was it that was texting? Oh, Gina thought that I was going to run for governor today. That was the big announcement.
Oh, that's great.
I did joke around with Scott Shamblin that I am going to announce running for governor for only one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to make Kyle Clark have to host me on a debate stage. I'm not going to answer any of his questions. We're just going to debate how crummy his show has become and the destruction he's brought to Colorado. And then the minute that the show's done, I will withdraw.
That's smart. I like that idea. Just getting on the stage for whatever it is.
And Scott pointed out you can loan yourself a few $1,000s and already be in the top 5 or so candidates, because there's about 35 that hasn't raised a dime.
And what you do is you show up with your Twitter handle on a T-shirt, and that's what you wear on camera. That's all you have to do. That's it, my friend. That's all you got to do.
All right. Suzanne texting in, please don't presume she's dead. Don't do that.
That's fair. That's a fair critique.
Fair critique, yeah.
And it's sad. And Suzanne, I guess I have to explain, because when someone disappears in this way, I often go towards the worst possible ending. It's a flaw in my personality. There are times I try to be very optimistic, but in these cases, I do run through all possibilities, and I normally hang on the worst of the worst. Just like when the kids call and say, Dad, and you're like, oh crap, something's flooding or on fire. I mean, so that's just how I'm wired. So that's a fair critique. That is a fair critique, though.
All right. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call or text us. Speaking of the Dan Caplis Law text line, Dan Caplis, a fantastic attorney here in the Colorado area. Dan suggests that you should choose a lawyer who shares your values, because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis, the son of a police officer and a former seminarian, Dan has dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Dan Caplis Law is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law, a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call, 303-770-5551. 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS and 101 FM at 1460 AM KZNT, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Now syndicated, 710 KNUS in Denver, AM 1460 and FM 101. The Answer in Colorado Springs, all along the Front Range. Glad to have our friends from Colorado Springs. We are Colorado's right, left, center debate show. Billy, I thought this was a great headline from our friends at the Daily Wire. The Grammys didn't expose ICE, it exposed Hollywood hypocrisy. Real Americans are tired of being lectured by people who will never pay the price for the policies they promote. Here's Billie Eilish at the Grammys.
No one is illegal on stolen land. And yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And I feel really hopeful in this room, and I feel like we just need to keep fighting and speaking up and protesting, and our voices really do matter, and the people matter. And I say sorry.
Says something there that we can't broadcast.
No, we can't.
But F word ICE. So, Billy, these people that live behind the biggest walls on the most exclusive properties, complaining that no one's illegal on stolen land. I run into this at protests when I go down and people hold those signs.
Yeah.
And I just ask them if they have locks on their doors. And they get really mad and walk away. That's not what we're talking about here. But I'm like, you have every right to determine who comes into your home. And there's a reason you have locks on your doors, to keep bad people you don't want out. That's all America's trying to do with a border. And these people that, you want to reform ICE, you want them to do, less aggressive tactics, okay. But this no one is illegal on stolen land is so hypocritical to me. And in fact, it's inspired a guy. A new GoFundMe was launched so a foreigner can just move into Billie Eilish's home. A man from Australia says he plans to just move right in. I was inspired by Billie Eilish's recent statement at the Grammys that no human being is illegal, and now intend to fly to America and move into her $14 million beachside house in Malibu. Should he be able to do that?
Well, there are a couple of things here. First, wow, really rich people not being in touch with everybody else. I'm shocked. I'm surprised. That's pretty much what it is. I mean, I remember when our current president was going on about groceries, and it's a quaint word, and it means stuff you put in a bag. Sorry, pretty much the rest of us, we know what groceries are. We've been doing that. Just recently, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that, if we change some of the rules about how many people who can own homes, people's parents won't be able to own 10 or 12 houses to pay for their retirement. Excuse me. Who? Raise your hand if your parents in the audience of the Jeff and Bill Show, broadcasting both in Denver and Colorado Springs this morning, have 10 or 12 houses for their retirement? Please. I'd love to know. That's the thing. And then we have, musical artists. And then when you get into the Oscars, Hollywood artists that are disconnected from reality. And that's absolutely.
But is it that they're just disconnected? But in this case, they're pushing policies that they'll never have to deal with the consequences of. Those of us that are social, the idea that there's no one's illegal on stolen land. That's
what's
open
the
border.
policy there?
Open border.
No, see, again, you're jumping to conclusions. What that statement is, the statement. Hang on a second. You're jumping to conclusions, in my opinion, because the statement is trite. The statement is shallow, but it's not a statement of policy. That's not what they're doing. They're not advocating for a policy. They're actually pointing out hypocrisy. Now, again, it's trite and shallow, and I don't think it does what the people that say it think it does. But those that respond to it more times than not completely and totally miss the hypocrisy contained therein. And so in these conversations, oftentimes both sides end up talking by each other, having parallel conversations that don't actually deal with the core issue. And what I mean by that is inside of the statement that nobody is illegal on stolen land It's the statement of, just because I've decided this is my land, I then get to decide who can and can't come onto it. That's all it is. So the guy saying, I'm going to come in and, go fund me and then break into Billy's house and then it's mine, it's only going to prove your point if you defend the rights of squatters. If you think that squatters then own the home in which they squat on, then you're proving your point about what you say about the illegal land and everything else. But if you don't, then you do fundamentally respect some sort of border, and even the people saying nobody's illegal on stolen land also do respect rights. But the problem is the conversation misses the hypocrisy contained inside the statement of what's pointing out. It's not a statement of policy.
They're not going down to the streets to protest against hypocrisy. They're going down because they want open borders. They believe in it. They're globalists. Any wall is terrible. We're keeping people out. And they want millions of people streaming and utilizing our healthcare and our education and our services. And that's the globalist world they want. They're not just out there protesting hypocrisy. They want a fundamental change to America with open borders. And they do it all while living behind huge walls, security guards. The Daily Wire is exactly right on this, that real Americans are getting tired of being lectured by people who will never pay the price for the policies they promote. Let's go to the phone lines. Gary and Thornton. Good morning, Gary. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, fellas. Hey, I want to comment on the movie stars. You're talking about stolen land.
Yeah.
Isn't there beef with the Pope at the time, the Spanish, the French, and the Portuguese? And it wasn't the Louisiana Purchase? We bought that from the French, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We did buy big parts of it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So where do they lie in all this with stealing the land? That's from the tip of South America to the tip of Alaska, right?
Yeah.
And then the guy who's playing the Super Bowl, he had that hair on his face, and he speaks Spanish, right? Well, someone needs to tell him he's Caucasian. I'm just saying.
He is Puerto Rican.
He's a white man too.
He's a Puerto Rican.
He speaks the language of a white man, which is Spanish, which are Caucasian. So they need to go back to school or something. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it always reeks to me of elitism, as hypocrisy, as not understanding the challenges that are actually going to come as a result of these policies. I just disagree with Bill that this is about hypocrisy. No. This is about driving an agenda, and that agenda is an open border, globalist, no borders everywhere agenda.
Yes.
Gary and Jeff,
Bill,
hang on.
Bill, you don't need a passport no more, right?
Hang on a
You don't
sec.
need a passport to
Wait,
go to
Gary,
another country.
Hold on. Gary, Jeff, where in Billie Eilish's statement does she say that?
She said you can't have no one's illegal on stolen land. But
Yeah.
She got
Where
the
did she
stolen
say?
land
Hang on
part.
a sec.
Her beef
Gary?
is with
Gary?
Spain,
Gary?
France, and Portugal.
Gary and Jeff, I'm asking, where in that statement is she advocating for policy change that includes no borders, no passports, anything like that? Where is that contained in the statement?
I think that's what she believes. I think it's contained in that statement.
No. I'm asking you to point it out. Both of you
No
point
one
it
is
out.
illegal.
I know. Where does that?
No one is illegal.
How is that saying we should?
No one is illegal.
No one is illegal on stolen land, and the point of the statement is that when we have taken land or other people have taken land, everybody else then that has taken the land decides who gets to stand it or not. That's the hypocrisy contained in the statement. That's what the statement is pointing out. It is not a declaration of policy. And I believe, Gary, that people like you, and I think Jeff as well, misrepresents the statement because it makes political points for your side. Because you state this is just an advocation for. Hang on a sec, Gary.
I'm not on the side. I'm on what makes sense, Billy.
Gary, Gary.
I like you, Billy. You're cool. Your guys' show is awesome.
I appreciate that.
Man,
but Gary, hang on, Gary. You just
you're
took
so
a side.
technical about stuff. It doesn't make sense.
I understand, Gary, but you just
took a side. There's rules and there's unwritten rules, Billy, in society.
I get that, Gary, but you just took a side. You just said I'm on the side that makes sense. Again, that's what I said. Is it works because you're taking a side, and this is the issue. If The people that use that statement, nobody's illegal on stolen land, meant we need open borders, we shouldn't have borders. They can make that statement. You're inferring that statement from what she is saying, when the actual core that is contained inside the statement is that we need to remember when someone conquers, steals, or takes land for whatever reason or mechanism, that individual then gets to decide who is legal and who is illegal.
So you don't need a passport for nothing then. None of us need passports, right?
No, Gary, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what Billie Eilish is saying.
But that's what the situation is, Billy.
Gary, no, it's not. You're misinterpreting this. You're misinterpreting the statement on purpose because it fits what you think it should say, and that's not what the statement means at all.
No, Billy, you're off on some. I'm with Gary on this. You're off on some wild technicality here.
No,
okay?
I'm on the core of the statement.
They're opposing ICE and immigration enforcement. Period. That's what they're doing.
Billy, I just went, and from that I just went to funeral services, Billy, and they said to our face, if you're not Catholic, don't receive the body of Christ, right? And these are the people, the Catholic Church, that are pushing all this, open border stuff for America. And did Jesus say that? If you're not a Catholic, don't come to me? I mean, this is starting to get out of hand.
Gary, in all religions, there is a process to go through in order to receive the sacrament. In many religions, you shouldn't be going up and receiving a sacrament if you haven't gone through the steps to prepare yourself for that sacrament in any religion. No, you shouldn't. And so
I've been reading, but where does it say that in the Bible? Is that man's religion, man-made, or is it, or do we have a personal relationship with Jesus, or do we have to have never mind, but hey, I love you guys.
Well, Gary, no, but I think you bring up a really good point here, that a lot of the religious push that's taking place with regards to immigration issues is coming from the Catholic Church, who have strict standards by which you take the sacrament, but, if you cross the border illegally, we got to keep you.
The New World between Spain and Portugal. So all these Hollywood people, they got their beef wrong with who stole what. I mean,
and I'm hard pressed to find anywhere.
They speak Spanish, and they don't even think. They say the white man this, white man. Dude, that hair on your face, you're white. You're from Europe. You're Caucasian too. Oh man.
And Gary, I'm hard pressed to find anywhere that hasn't had somebody conquering another person, another people group.
And that's the statement. That's the hypocrisy that's contained inside the statement, pointing out that it's always those individuals, just like the bromide of the idea that the victor writes the history. That's what the statement is pointing out, that the conqueror or whoever takes the land, who has the land, then gets to decide who is or is not illegal. That's all. That's the entirety of what's contained inside that statement. Again, I am saying that it is trite and it is shallow, but it does not say what you two are saying it means, that they want open borders and want no passports or anything else.
All right, Gary, appreciate the call.
Gary, appreciate
I think that's exactly what they want. Open borders, globalist agenda, the destruction of Western civilization, the change of the entire country.
She could say that directly on stage.
No one is illegal. All right, folks, let's talk Guyries. They're all over the Denver metro area. Absolutely fantastic personal design store. We went to the one in Parker. My wife and I got to sit down with their professional designer, who showed us an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. I was a little overwhelmed at first, but the designer was a real pro. She walked us through everything and helped us find the perfect options to enhance the look and functionality of our home. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Guyries has the solutions for you. Their designers are the experts, and they can help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor. Here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation. They'll come to you, so you can get the same expert advice right in your own home. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit Guyries.com to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Guyries. You'll be sure to thank me. Billie Eilish, during her Grammy speech, saying that no person is illegal on stolen land while living behind a big wall and living on stolen land. She seems to want to keep people out of her property. Is this just hypocrisy? And when 10 million people were pouring over the border, Billie Eilish was nowhere to be found complaining about open borders. She seems to embrace it. My opinion. All right, we'll continue. We got You Choose the News coming up. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
We are Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS and 101 FM, 1460 AM KZNT, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show, broadcasting on 710 KNUS in Denver and AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer in Colorado Springs. Good morning to our new audience in Colorado Springs. Glad to have you with us. If you don't like what we're saying, this is a debate show. You get to call in. Tell us that we're dopes at 303-696-1971 or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line 720-819-5115. And I just want to preface, there's pretty much nothing you can say that we haven't heard already.
No, not at all.
Don't be worried about it.
Yeah.
Call in and tell me I'm a
Yeah. And the other part is this, is that if you're hearing something that you don't like, what one of us is saying, wait a couple of seconds till the other one starts talking. We'll probably clean it up real nicely. Which is kind of what happens here.
Right.
Yeah. So, and we go back and forth. We want to debate. The issue is we want to have that conversation. It's too often inside of talk radio, you, the audience, has been talked at. You haven't been involved in the conversation. Jeff and I are going back to old school. We are doing this as that community back fence. We want to talk to you through both the text messages and the phones. We understand that not always do you have time to dial those 10 digits and give us a ring in the morning, but you can throw us a message on the text, the Dan Caplis Law text line, and that is an easy way to connect with us, and we will even have offline conversations. Sometimes there are conversations that have nothing to do with what's going on in the air, but we are happy to communicate with you because that's what we want to do here on the Jeff and Bill Show. This is about the communication and the conversations that we don't want to have anymore. We're here to have them with you.
Love to hear from you. Phone lines hot, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. For you in Colorado Springs, you're about to have a real treat. It's that time of the morning. We bring you Bill Thorpe's You Choose the News.
Yes. Hang on a second here. I got to put someone on hold. Hang on, Jim. Okay. Putting Jim on hold. We'll talk to him in a second. And it is time for America's favorite fake radio news game show. It's You Choose the News. Yeah. You know what happens is that Jeff and I are left unsupervised this early in the morning, and so we are going to take full advantage of not having those in charge around. So I spend mere moments browsing the interwebs to find really, really dumb stories about us humans, and then I give them even more ridiculous headlines because this is really silly and fun, and we enjoy doing this with you in the morning. As always, we bring in Blake Olson from our news department. He shares in the frivolity and the fun. Also, he's the fall guy in case this thing goes sideways. Just saying, Blake, we love you, but I'm just saying we're blaming you. All right.
Love it.
Yep. Here we go. Gentlemen, your choices are as follows. Headline number 1, practice makes perfect. Headline number 2, maybe it's Carol Ann. Headline number 3, a real horror scope. And headline number 4, bomb disposal or hide and seek. Mr. Hunt, your choice.
Start with practice makes perfect.
Yes, practice makes perfect. Yeah. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice. Now, there's a crime, though, that we're going to be talking about that you don't really hear about every day. A California 38-year-old man has recently done a couple of plane nappings. Yes, he absconded with not one, but 2 planes. And flew one of them across a couple of states. It gets even more weird because he did this while high on methamphetamines, and no, he does not have a pilot's license.
Oh.
So let's review.
way.
The 38-year-old stole multiple planes, flew one of them across several states while high on meth, and without a pilot's license. Now, the FBI first got wind of this plane theft spree when a single-engine aircraft disappeared from Auburn Municipal Airport, that's in Washington State, back in early January. Normally, the airplanes have a transponder unit that broadcasts their signal to air traffic controllers, but the thief was smart enough to turn off the transponder. Well, a stolen plane with no transponder, that's a huge security risk.
Yes,
FBI put this thing on high alert. Joint Terrorism Task Force also got involved. They began hunting for the aircraft, and witnesses said it landed in Kelso, Washington, with a couple on board. But then it had flown away again. January 6th, they recovered it in Corona, California, over 1,000 miles away from the original sighting. Now, they staked out that airport figuring, well, the thief's got to come back for the stolen plane. No, didn't happen. And so they waited there for a couple of weeks. They thought they were at a dead end. Then it's the end of January, just a few days earlier. 38-year-old Christian Esteke rolls up to the airport, and now he decides to get into a different aircraft. This aircraft hadn't been registered since 2017. The FBI quickly put 1 and 2 together and figured, aha, we know what he's trying to do. They come in there, and he was in the process of stealing another plane. They took him into custody, didn't have a pilot's license, and was high at the time. Yes. And he admitted that he was operating the previous aircraft under the influence of methamphetamines as well.
I've heard taking off is
flown.
one thing. I'm impressed
Yes.
he landed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just everything involved. And there was someone else that got in the plane with him, and the dude was still meth. Just so many questions.
That
I
may
know.
be the craziest story you've ever.
It's really
told on
crazy.
You Choose
It is.
the News.
Alrighty, Blake, your choice, sir.
Yes.
Maybe it's Carol Ann, real horoscope, or bomb disposal, or hide and seek.
Maybe it's Carol Ann.
Maybe it is Carol Ann. Shout out to everybody that gets the movie reference. It may become clearer here in a second. You might not need a psychic, but you might need an exorcist. The National Health Service has called in an exorcist at Norfolk Hospice because the site is supposed to be haunted, including by a spectral figure of a girl in a red dress. Workers say they've experienced a number of paranormal incidents at the Priscilla Bacon Lodge. Yes, it is Priscilla Bacon Lodge, which sounds delicious. To address their concerns, the lodge chaplain contacted the Diocese of Norwich, England, and requested assistance on deliverance ministers. There are about 40 or so deliverance ministers in the Anglican Church. They conduct religious services going around doing exorcist type of things. Well, the incidents at the at the hospital, they haven't seen anything since then, but yes, they spread out the holy oil, they did all the blessings, so we'll see if the ghosts go away. And Jeff, final choice this morning, sir. Real horoscope or bomb disposal or hide and seek?
Bomb disposal.
Oh, it's a good thing we have to do this. This is about a French hospital that recently was evacuated during surgery after a 24-year-old came in and said, it's a little uncomfortable. I've got something wedged in an uncomfortable orifice in my body. He had a World War I artillery shell placed in a very uncomfortable position inside of his body cavities, and it was still live. So during surgery, when they were trying to remove it from his tuchus, they had to evacuate the hospital. Yep, that's an actual story, and it's in France. All right, that's all the damage I can do this morning. Back to you, sir.
Man. I don't even know where to go from there. Okay,
You are welcome.
We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is KNUS and KZNT.